Hi, it's Amy. I was going to do a mixed media canvas today for one of my granddaughters, and one thing led to another, and I got a late start. I started looking for some quotes that I might want to put on the canvas, and one thing led to another. I ended up on Facebook, and we all know what a slippery slope that is. So, when something steals away your imagination and your creativity, you know it's not good for you to spend a lot of time there, and Facebook does tend to do that to me sometimes. So that's what happened. So I'm going to just do an acrylic canvas with a piece of a quote that I like, which is "Be still," and we'll see how it turns out. I got this inspiration off of Pinterest last week, and I'll look for that picture and post a link to it in the info. Okay, so I have my freezer paper out, which is a wonderful disposable this disposable palette, which is nice because it costs you about $6 for 150 square feet, and it keeps your area nice and clean. I've tried other why do I want to say canvas? I've tried other palettes, and it just gets in the way or whatever. I can work around with this. So let's see what we're going to have. Get some turquoise, some baby blue. It's a little dry there. Well, my husband's new to Facebook, and it's kind of interesting. We've not been that high-tech kind of couple. We made phone calls instead of text messages and all that. So in the middle of the afternoon, sometimes I get little messages from him. Just kind of neat. I woke up this morning and I have 21 subscribers. A friend of mine, Diane, is always saying that we should celebrate the things that make us happy more often, so that we take time to enjoy them and they don't just fly by. So I've been trying to take that advice, and so I've put up little, not rewards, but celebrations for myself. For example, when I hit a certain weight, we're going to go to an Irish pub that has a live session band on Tuesday nights and Kaylee dancing. And when I got 200 views on my videos, I took myself to get a manicure, which I ruined after like 2 days because I'm kind of tough on my nails. So then I've been working on trying to get to do them myself. So there's that. And when I get 25 subscribers, I'm buying myself a movie. Do you ever buy stuff for everybody in your family but not for yourself? I tend to do that. We have every superhero movie made and known to man. But when it comes to the movies I want, I don't tend to indulge. Of course, I don't really like to watch movies a lot of times in a row. There are a few exceptions. For example, What Women Want with Mel Gibson in. I love that movie. And What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. It is, in my opinion, the best movie he ever did. Not sure if I want purple in here. It's a serious movie, and it's probably the most beautiful love story that they made into a movie. I mean, it's not based on reality, and it's based on a book. I read the book after I saw the movie, which is usually not the case. And I actually liked it better than book. I thought I had gray. It's a very good movie. It will make you cry. I don't like to cry, so it has to be really worth it. Another movie I've seen a million times, of course, is Titanic, because I think everybody who went to movies when Titanic came out saw it more than once. And I'm using floating medium to just give this a nicer blend. Typically I want to go see a movie, and by the time that I get around to it, it has left the theater. We live very rurally, so it's an hour round trip for everywhere that we want to go. Oh, it's probably a little bit more purple than I really wanted on there. Just lighten that up a little bit. It's a very loose and simple, easy canvas just to... Sometimes you just have to make something in order to get your creative juices flowing. I didn't use any of the turquoise. Do the turquoise down the bottom. So sometimes it's just good to make something, anything. My dad always says, do something even if it's wrong. Just get moving. Still a little dark. I'm not sure if I want to put white on there, but let's see what happens. I'm just using Acrylics Americana and Folk Art. I like the Americana better. It doesn't seem to lose its viscosity, whereas in the past my Folk Art stuff seems to turn into a solid mass eventually. Maybe that's improved, but sometimes you just take it out and give it a shake and it just kind of is one solid clump. A friend of mine was telling me the other day that they had an article on the internet, so it must be true, that crafting, and I think they were talking about knitting and crocheting, is very good for you if you're stressed out. And we don't take enough time for ourselves. This life gets so busy, and you feel like if you're not doing something, if you're not really busy, then somehow you are doing it wrong. And sometimes you don't realize until you are stressed out and burned out that you were doing it wrong. It takes its toll. just keep pushing and pushing. You never take time for yourself. And how can you take care of anybody else if you're not taking care of you? You can't. And then you resent that you have to take care of yourself. You go through the motions, but you don't really care about yourself. Grab a quick shower, throw your hair in a ponytail, take no time to pamper yourself or feel like that's too selfish to go there. But you would never tell someone that you love to live that way, right? You'd say, you need that time. And I'm going to put too much purple in there than I wanted. Sealed well. Alright, I'm going to go and die cut my letters using the Tim Holtz Alterations Once Upon a Time die, and I'm going to punch those out on, probably use some foam, this craft foam that children use. It'll give it a little bit of dimension. I can paint it any color I want to. It's really inexpensive and it does the job. I'll be back. Okay, I finished punching out my letters, but I took a look at this and I wanted to just change it a little bit. Add a little bit of less definition right at the horizon. And I did find the place. I found this actually on a blog. Hers is quite a bit different. See, maybe add a little bit more light in the center. flow a little better. And this is all I'm, well, put it this way because I'm going to flip this video around. Right now it's upside down. Just floating medium is all I'm using. Some people just use gel medium, which is great. That was probably a couple bucks though, and I already had it. So I'm all for using what you have. And I may have just used too much of what I have in the middle here because it's getting a little too transparent. So I'm just going to wipe that up a little bit with paper towel. The nice thing about using the medium is it's very forgiving and your paint doesn't dry very quickly, so you have time to fix mistakes like that. Actually, I kind of like how that turned out, and I'm okay with that. Okay. And I think I'm going to give this, my cat is not here, so I don't have to protect my paint water. For some reason, he thinks it's delicious. He is an unusual cat. And yes, maybe someday I will be a cat lady. Right now, though, we started out the year with 3 dogs and 2 cats. We now have 2 dogs and 1 cat, and everybody that I just listed is getting pretty old. And we've had pets since our children have left home, so you're always kind of tied to your home that way. And we're getting close to the time where my husband's going to retire, and we'd kind of like to travel a little bit and go places without having to worry about kenneling. So once all these guys go to heaven, I think we might, I can't even imagine a house without pets. I really can't. But maybe. Oh, you're not even seeing what I'm doing. Just doing the bottom here. Okay, now these are how the letters come out. So just pull these out. E. I also do this with pattern paper on top to make letters for the fronts of mini albums. Projects like that. I think I need to get some new cutting pads. Alright, just be still.
Ordered the 21-day fix videos on eBay with
So I'm back. I needed a drink. I'm giving up powdered iced tea, and I've been drinking water with water enhancers. I'm breaking myself into the shock of drinking just actual plain water, because you know it's a big adjustment when you're used to having a flavor all the time. Yeah, I know, I'm a big baby. So they have these water enhancers. They have 0 calories. I'm a little afraid to know what's in them, so I just pretend there's real blueberries in there, and it just tastes delicious, and there's no chemicals or artificial stuff that's gonna give me horrible illnesses later. Just don't tell my mother, because she knows what all those things are. Alright, I'm gonna go with the dark purple around the edges and get very messy doing it. And then, see, I can't even open it up without getting it on me. It's a really pretty color though. If you're gonna paint yourself with a color, that's a good color. Isn't it the Purple Hat Club, or is it a, yeah, purple hats, red hat, I don't know. I get inspired. And if Gareth doesn't stop posting all these cool things that he's making for Halloween right now, I'm not going to be able to be his friend anymore, because I have this list of things I need to make and videos I'm trying to put together for the Black Friday event, and all I want to do is make the stuff that Gareth is making. Like, I want to make stuff out of books, because I have... Alright, I'm a person who can't throw away a book. And I used to sell used books on the internet through Amazon and eBay. And sometimes when you buy a box of books at an auction, some of them are beyond repair. I went to one auction. It was a tragedy. I told my children, if I die and they don't know what to do with my stuff, give it to Goodwill, but do not auction it off, because we went to an auction, and these people were collectors of books, and the auctioneer had put out boxes of their belongings the night before on the lawn on tarps. Unfortunately, it rained overnight. There were books that were printed in Japan on this beautiful old paper, and the book had to be at least 60 years old, 70 years old. It was beautiful. There were beautiful books that were completely destroyed. I brought them home because I couldn't, and nobody, of course, was buying the books, probably because book people knew better. I was early on and couldn't stand the thought of those books just sitting there. Nobody bought them. So for $1 a box, I think I brought home 8 boxes or 9 boxes of books, spread a tarp out in my front yard, and laid them out to dry. And I did salvage a couple, but literally probably just a couple. But it was a waste. It was so sad. But you come across books like that, and there's nothing you can do with them. They're going to get mildewy. The binding is falling apart. The pages are ruined or very tender. So I try to find something to do with them. Same thing with encyclopedias. I don't know how... I have a couple sets of encyclopedias that people... I'm kind of like a home for wayward books. Oh, looks like my battery's going dead. Hold on while I plug in. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. It says I have 4 minutes, but I think that my battery was dying The camera's sort of new to me, so it either means that or I'm running out of storage space, but I think I've deleted everything. So anyway, as I was saying, I'm home for wayward books. Someone called up our superstore, and that is the radio version of what people did to sell their stuff before Craigslist was invented. It was safer for some reason, too. Craigslist seems to be a little bit of a risky proposition. A woman had called in. Her son had died in a car accident several years before. She had all these history books that he had and a set of encyclopedias, and she didn't want to just give them away. So, to, somebody who wasn't going to use them or give them to a Salvation Army or something like that if they weren't going to be able to sell them and they would destroy them. So, of course, I hop in my car and I'm there in 20 minutes picking up boxes of books. So Gareth is making pumpkins out of books, and what else did he make? Was it I can't remember now, but it wasn't just round, it had a shape to it. I don't know if it was a squash. I'm going to have to look again. I just remember seeing a glimpse of it and thinking, oh, book art. But he has to stop it. He's posting some really nice projects, though. Some really cute ones. I'll link to him below also. Jane at VelocityVette and Maymay from MayMayMadeIt. We're always talking about Gareth. I finally found him on one of their Facebook pages. Felt like a stalker. Who is this mysterious Gareth person? He has a British accent, so that just automatically makes him cool. And I live in Western Pennsylvania, and today going across the little news ticker on MSNBC said that Pittsburgh had the ugliest American accent. So that's a little bit discouraging. It's not very nice, is it? So that's what we're left with. Because we don't have any of those terminologies like wicked up in Boston. We have yuns. In the South they say you all. Everybody else says, or y'all. Everybody else says you, and we say yuns. I guess it's you ones. I don't really know where it came from. My husband's originally from Connecticut, so he's lived here since he was in 3rd grade, I think, so you would think he would be used to it. But we say pop here, they say soda there. And I remember the first picnic that we had as a family with his parents. My daughter's like, "Can I have a glass of pop?" And they looked at her like she was from another planet. They're like, "You want some soda?" And then she looked at them like they were from another planet. We did manage to get her hydrated, though. It's perfectly fine. She didn't dehydrate and blow away. His mom said, "I never heard of tea towels before." Dish towel? Yes, but not tea towel. But then again, we didn't say tag sales. I didn't know what a tag sale was. They're garage sales or yard sales. Not that we're selling our garages or our yards, as I was educated to consider. These little dots are hard to paint. But you just get in there. You know? Anyway. I learned what Remembrance Sunday was on one of Gareth's videos. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll have to Google it. But it is a British holiday. Okay, these are very tiny. See, I could not do this with acrylic nails. I am not coordinated to work with anything other than what's actually connected to my body by nature. These things would be on the floor. Speaking of on the floor, there's a mouse trap on the floor in front of my table right now because my husband hasn't found evidence that a mouse was on his computer desk. And you would, for all the fussing I do about spiders, yeah, he was really fussing about that mouse. He was mad, but I can't blame him. He had, he bought his dad's Corvette from the estate after his dad passed away, and mice got into all of the ventilation ducts or whatever is in a car, and he couldn't even sit in the car. It just smelled like a mouse so bad. It was horrible. And he had, then he put, so he put mothballs in there. Those things are pretty toxic. I stay away from mothballs ever since I heard of somebody who developed some type of chemical sensitivity after a run-in with mothballs. It literally changed the way they live the rest of their life. So I stay away from mothballs. He had them poured all through the car. It was fine. Just put the windows down. So what? Your eyes are watering. Your throat's closing up. Air is not a necessity. So anyway, he has a thing against mice. But if he's on the computer, we heat with wood. So anytime you're going to be bringing in firewood for months at a time, every night you're bringing in some, you're going to bring in some little frozen spider who's going to wake up once he gets re-energized with some warm air, and he's going to find his way around. So our computer area and my craft area is in the basement, which is where our wood burner is. We have one upstairs too, but we don't use it as much. And so I came down and there was a spider underneath my desk that was about the size of a nickel, which didn't seem to bother him. He thought that it would be fine if I waited a little while he got around to killing it. But boy, the whole mouse thing, he wasn't very patient about that. Okay, well, my battery was dying and I ran out of space also. And for some reason, when I deleted videos on my camera, when I put the memory card in my computer, they were back. So I had to take care of that, and now I'm looking for my glue, which I can't find. Now this is hardly the best piece of artwork I've ever produced, but I think I got the canvases on sale for, oh, probably cost me $1.50. Let's say I used a quarter's worth of other supplies. So for $1.75 I got my creative juice moving and spent a little time with you guys talking about my husband and mice and spiders. I'm just using the Aleene's Fast Ground Tacky Glue, which it'll be upside down because I'm going to flip the video and I forget that sometimes. Just glue these babies down, and then after this I'm going to start working on a video for the Black Friday crafting event, and I saw that Cindy Lou Who is getting ready to do her 10 ornaments for Christmas series, which I watched her series last year and I've made a few of those ornaments. In fact, I've just kind of did a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for, modifying of her beaded ornament, and I'm working on that right now. Let's see if I can get it here to show you. using her pattern as far as like how many beads to place, but then playing around with the color of bead that I use and stuff like that. So I'll do a video on that later. Alright, don't want to look like I'm floating away. Probably may have wanted my word B over this a little ways. And I'm gonna hope that this glue dries clear, because I got a little carried away. I can't, well, okay, we're gonna roll all the paint containers through the paint and see how that goes for us. It's always good to keep things guessing by being a klutz. One of my granddaughters is named Grace, and I joke that she was named after me because I'm going to glue it with purple glue. Because I was such a klutz. Grace was a sarcastic name for me and continues to be. Someday I'll tell you about how I fell in the woods and how I fell into the... When you build a house, you have what looks like a moat all the way around your house where they over dig the foundation. I fell in there off the top step of the front door. Yeah, I'm a source of amusement. Okay, I've rolled through the floating medium now. As you can see, I'm not growing out of that. We're just going to keep it going. I got to get out of it someday because, you know, I'm getting to the age where my bones are going to get brittle and I'm going to have to worry about it a little bit more seriously. But yeah, I'm comic relief. I am the Dick Van Dyke master of physical comedy, all unintentional in my family. Okay. My biggest problem right now with my projects is that I'm running out of things to do with them. Keep crafting away. So I'm thinking of putting some of the things I had left over from the craft show on my Facebook page. Okay. Be still. I'm going to put these little dots here. But then I changed my mind and now I don't think I've left enough room. Unless I put them very close together. They just want to stick and do whatever they want to do here. I might be able, now that I decided not to put them on there, I want them on. Let's see, I gotta get a toothpick. Doesn't really look like it goes there. Alright, we're going to leave them off for now. Throw them around the basement, see if the mice like them. And we'll call that a day. Alright, thank you for visiting and stop by again and have a great day.